A good website design can seem magical, almost like the designer stumbled across this perfect combination of components that engage the viewers. But what's happening is, in reality, the designer is using a certain set of elements to design, build, and hone that perfect website. Hello everyone, I'm Varsha from Myra, and today we'll be discussing about how to use spaces effectively to make that perfect website. White space is the design element, which is the empty space between text, paragraphs, text, and other buttons on the web page. Simply put, it's the space in the website that's left empty so that the website becomes more readable. Let's consider these two images of two different clothing stores. Where do you think the customer would be satisfied and have a pleasant shopping experience? Do note the space inside each of the stores. Where do you think the products would be sold more easily with a better ability to capture the customer's attention and provide them with a better shopping experience? If you think it's the image on the left, then you are right. It aids the consumer's attention and the decision making process since the environment is uncluttered and breathable. Apple effectively uses white space in order to garner attention, which impacts its sales. The way Apple advertises its products is an art in itself by using white space. No distractions at all. White space isn't just a filler between other design elements, it is perhaps the most important of all design elements. White space should be regarded as an active element and not just a passive background. In technical terms, designers refer to white space as the negative space. In some way, this term is more accurate because it kind of does away with the concept that the space has to be white alone. In fact, negative space could be any color, be it black, yellow, red, anything. It could even be a patterned or a textured background. First and foremost, space contrasts non-space. Think of it in terms of music. Music is created by the contrast of tune with silence. The blend of them creates the perfect melody. Silence is to music what space is to non space. It connects elements by being sparse and it separates elements by being vast. White space impacts the aesthetics of the website. It improves the focus of the users, leading to effective communication. It helps us understand what we see by creating a hierarchy of information. Without the appropriate use of white space, one thing will flow into one another with no relief. Ideas will merge and the message becomes confusing. When that happens, communication ceases and the design fails in its purpose. Typically, white space is divided into two types, micro and macro. Microspace entails the small gaps in between the content. Microspace can be found between words, paragraphs, navigation links, letters, images, or content in a grid. The aim of the microspace is to improve the legibility and readability of the content. In contrast, macro white space is the space between the major elements in a website. It separates the elements by appearing in abundance. This can be found in the margins of the website, around this call to action buttons or the CTA buttons, around images, encircling the logo, separating the main content from the other content between the sections of a logo. Google uses an abundance of macro white space to naturally draw the user's attention towards the center of the page where the minimalistic design resides. The purpose of the macro white space is to enhance the website layout and make it easier for the user to navigate. This also helps guide the user's attention in the desired direction. Active white space refers to the spaces that are intentionally added to a web page to guide the user's attention through a particular element on the web page or through a conversion funnel, for example. It helps create structure and flow on the page while guiding the user through the content. Active white space is typically asymmetrical and leads user from one part of the design to another. On the other hand, passive white space are the spaces that naturally occur in a design. They will be there with or without the designer placing them, and they do not guide the user's eyes anywhere. It is kind of like a leftover byproduct and does not contribute to the meaningful whole. It exists because the positive elements do not consume the space. Passive white space is usually symmetrical. For example, if a coconut tree is placed at the center of a web page, then it's very symmetrical and space around it is passive. On the other hand, if the coconut tree is towards one side of the web page, like in this picture, it creates an asymmetrical composition, making it more active. White spaces play a pivotal role in empowering the designers to communicate and focus on the elements that actually do need to stand out on a web page. They help create a welcoming layout so that the users stay on the web page for a bit longer and they have a pleasant experience. According to a recent research, it has been found that white spaces between paragraphs in the right and left margins increases comprehension of the content by almost 20%. In addition, users find it easier to process and focus on the well-spaced content. To best use this concept, designers could also color code and group similar information, use pictorial or graphical representation of long areas of text, and use abundance of space between text and paragraph. Users have a very average level of attention. They cannot recall more than one or two highlighted items on a website. White space around the call to action buttons or some prominent items on a website will increase their prominence. Designers can guide the user's eyes by organizing the web page's content into no more than 15 points on a single web page. Further, a designer can set the order of priority for those 15 points. For example, like placing the logo on the top, um, followed by the navigation bar, the hero image or the hero header, then the text or the paragraph. While positioning the content, the designer needs to decide on where the micro and the macro space would be. That is, where each piece of the content or a group of elements would be placed on the screen. White space is undoubtedly a very vivid element that allows the designer to meet the site's objectives in the best possible manner. By understanding and incorporating the micro and the macro space in the design layout, designers can not only make the website user friendly, but they can also enhance attention and the decision making of the clients. For more content like this, do subscribe to our channel.